everyone and welcome to the Shuffle Squad YouTube channel. My name is Elena from TCG and it's a pleasure to be here once again. In today's video we are going to be looking at the top 5 decks that you could choose from if you are going to play Liverpool's regional, which by the way happens in 1 week from the time I'm recording this video, so good luck all of you that are playing. I won't unfortunately be traveling because I have already spent most of my holidays, but I'm sure that we will have chances to see each other pretty soon in other European regionals. I will try to guide you through my choices, explain why I decided to place them in the different positions, and overall have a discussion of where I see the meta evolving and why I think that those decks are the ones that have more chances to do a great performance at Liverpool's. Before going into the decks, I want to very quickly remind you that if you're looking for physical cards, you can always check our sponsors down below in the description at Last Collectionables and use the Shuffle Squad discount code to get some extra gifts and discounts on your purchases, as well as PTCGO store that will provide you with code cards. Having said that, let's now go into my collection, where we are going to be seeing together my top 5 picks. Now you're going to notice that I cheated a bit, just a little bit. I normally cheat when I do this kind of tops, but for those of you that read me in other places or on other sites, well, you know that's why I do that. But let me explain myself. So we are going to start on position number 5 and then we would go all the way to number 1. So in position number 5, there is a tie between Vikavolt and Duraludon. Why? So Vikavolt and Duraludon, I think that they deserve to be both in the 5th position because they are basically counter strategies, in the sense that they are only as good as the format allows them to be. If you think about how things were maybe 3 formats ago, when Arceus was dominating everything, no one would have considered playing Vikavolt even if we already had the capability to Melony and item lock our opponent in turn 1. And it was just because the damage output and item lock was not relevant back then. However, Vikavolt now is able to be a very scary deck because it beats the main 2 decks that are right now in the format, or at least the 2 most popular decks, which are Lost Zone, Lost Box, and Lugia. So the idea is pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. You power up Vikavolt, you make your opponent unable to use any item cards, and in case that you go first, all that you need to focus on is to set up an Aerodactyl, use the Ancient Start V-Start power, so that will prevent Lugia, for instance, from using the V-Start ability and getting Archeops into the bench, and then you just finish everything with Vikavolt, or you just go ahead and attack with Aerodactyl because it's never going to... It's literally the only thing that Lugia has to counter Aerodactyl is a late game Radiant Charizard with a choice band and with a choice belt. Sorry, that is basically it. I think this is a very underestimated deck. It has done some amazing results in the latest regionals, both in Europe and in the States, so I think that it's worth keeping an eye on it. But again, I think that if we consider that this is a counter strategy, it cannot be higher because this revolves around the metagame itself. And this is more or less similar to what happens to the Duraludon. Duraludon has always kind of been an okay-ish deck, but the more popular it has become, it is when the Skyscraper ability really made a difference. Imagine when Arceus or when Mew was played all the time, Duraludon was not really that relevant. But now Skyscraper is such an interesting ability because it prevents Lugia from attacking, and we know that Lugia is probably the best deck in the format right now. So if you are able to set up double Duraludon against Lugia, then you're done. The only way for Lugia to get rid of your Duraludon is by powering up an amazing Yveltal, but that's why you run Big Parasol to prevent the attack from happening. So I didn't rank Duraludon higher just because, first of all, I think again it's a counter strategy. It can beat both Lost Zone decks and Lugia decks, but also because it sometimes breaks very hard. It's an Arceus deck, so you need to start with Arceus plus the energy. If you are not able to open like that, you're probably going to lose the game, and you need to set up a Duraludon by turn 2 and all of these kind of things. By the way, in case that you're wondering, I will be leaving all the lists down below for you to copy them in case that you want them. Now, let's move to deck number 4. And the strategy I picked, and I think this is going to be no surprise, is Regigigas. The thing with Regigigas is that I still feel that it's capable of the best and the worst at the same time, in the sense that once it's set up, it can clearly beat practically everything in the format. It's a one-pricer focused deck. It has a lot of options. It hits for weakness. It has different outs to different matchups. But the thing with Regigigas is that sometimes it really breaks and it kind of suffers against Lost Cities. I think that overall this is a really solid pick. If you are already familiar with the dynamic, I would encourage you to go ahead and play it, because this is one of the decks that don't really go wrong unless you don't draw into anything. The only real counter that Regigigas might have right now in the format is SQ, but it's not played by most of the decks. So apart from SQ and Flying Pikachu, I think that you are good. If you hit all the normal meta decks that you would expect in a major tournament, Regis is the deck for you. It would be interesting to see if Flying Pikachu, for instance, makes a reappearance this week, because certainly lots of players are right now playing Regigigas. So that's my pick for number 4. Now, in number 3, I think that we need to acknowledge that Mew is a force in the metagame, and that is still going to be very relevant no matter the time that goes by. The good thing about Mew is that, first of all, it combines the aggression that we are used to when playing Mew. It can go like boss turn 1, then cross switchers, and that's it. And I've completely won the game just by doing that. And the other good thing is that we've seen some of these decks evolving and playing more control cards like Judge. And Judge is amazing because it's what is going to really allow you to win decks like Regigigas and decks like Lost Box. A Judge in early game totally wrecks those strategies, and it's very difficult for some decks to just get away from it. So I think that Mew is still going to be played. It's true that it struggles against anything that plays Drapion, but I have the feeling that some players are even opting to drop the Drapion for more consistency because Mew is not played a lot. So it's like this wave, right? Players see that Mew is not played, they drop the counter, and then Mew emerges once again. So yeah, keep an eye on Mew, because I really think, and it has been performing really well in Europe. It's a really popular deck. Now, on position number 2, it's Lost Box. And I think it's clear, and we all agree that Lost Box is not one of the most popular decks, not only one of the most popular decks in the format, but also one of the most powerful ones. If you would ask me, or if you had asked me 1 week ago, I would have said that the Amazing Rayquaza build was the best one, because it had the potential to, KO an Arceus, KO a Duraludon, KO basically everything, and it's certainly really powerful. The problem with Radiant Rayquaza is that it can be a bit, Amazing Rayquaza, it can be a bit inconsistent sometimes. I mean, it's not as consistent as other Lost Box decks, and also I'm not sure if really Rayco is needed. After seeing the results from the latest regional from San Diego, I think that this build is actually better. It's really difficult to pilot and to play because it's centered around Kyogre from Celebrations, the one that is able to deal a lot of damage into the bench. If this is something that you think that you can master, moving forward and going to Liverpool, don't hesitate and play it, because it's so good. It can literally win and beat anything if it doesn't break, and it has so many outs, so many options. It can win against all of the decks that traditionally maybe Lost Box suffers against. Of course, like if your opponent marnies you early game, you're still going to have a difficult time getting back into the game. But I really like this. I overall really like how this deck list flows, and I would recommend you to test it out. And on to the number one, and we need to agree that Lugia is still the deck to beat in this format and will still be so until Scarlet and Violet came out. Now, it is true, and you can argue, that Lugia is not dominating the format as it did when it was first released, and I agree with that. But if you think about it, the only reason why Lugia is not winning is because the meta game has adapted to counter Lugia. So whenever a deck becomes so powerful that the rest of the strategies have to adapt, or that it forces a change in the meta game, it's because it's the tier S. And that's out of discussion. So this is the deck list that won, I think, Texas regional, and still it shows the power that Lugia has. If it sets up, it's just unstoppable. It can draw very well and leave you without resources even before you have time to set up. So it doesn't matter if you play Lugia at Liverpool or not, but make sure that whatever you choose has options against Lugia. And also, if you play Lugia, make sure that you know how to play the mirror, because chances are that you're going to face a lot of mirrors. And let me tell you that here in Europe, apparently we really love to play Lugias. Last regional I played like 6 Lugia mirrors. So yeah, that was a bit of my story there. So yeah, that's my personal top 5. I would be very interested in knowing if you agree with the way in which I have ranked these decks, or if you think that we are going to see something different. Again, I will be leaving the deck lists in the description down below in case that you want to copy them, or you want just to check where I got them from, because of course there are many different builds that you can currently choose. And that's it. So I really hope that you enjoyed this short video. I am more than happy to hear your feedback and open the discussion. So now the floor is yours. I want to hear your comments, so please let me know what you think. And also, if you like this video, consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing to the Shuffle Squad YouTube channel for some more quality Pokemon content. With that, I will be leaving, and thank you for spending this time with me. So, bye-bye!
The Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Atlas Collectibles, the best place to buy any trading card game product online. Visit atlastcg.com, and at the checkout screen, make sure to use code TSS12 to save an unbeatable 12% off your entire order. Atlas Collectibles will ship your product anywhere in the world, so make sure you're taking advantage of the 12% savings with TSS12. And if Pokemon is not your thing, don't worry. Go to atlastcg.com and see all the other amazing trading card game products they have there to offer.
The Shuffle Squad is partnered with PTCGO Store to provide our community with the best access to Pokemon TCG codes. They have codes available 24/7, instant email delivery, and you can save 5% off by using code TSS5. If you're a YouTube member or Patreon supporter, you'll have access to a special code that gets you 10% off. So what are you waiting for? Use code TSS5 today and save 5% on your next order of codes on any codes available at PTCGOstore.com.
PokeXWord, the best place to get your fill of Pokemon-inspired puzzles. New puzzles are posted every day, and they recently launched a new Guess That Pokemon puzzle, which is a ton of fun to play. Go check them out at PokeXWord.com, and be sure to follow them on Twitter for your chance to win a ton of PTCGO codes every month.
Check out the Late Night Series Season 6, brought to you by myself, Zach Lesage, and the Shuffle Squad. We're going to be running a bunch of sick events for the Pokemon community, and they start on August 30th. So one thing you might be noticing here is that there's an EU time and an NA time. We have one at 12 p.m. Eastern, which works out to about 5 p.m. in London, and then we have one at 7 p.m. Eastern, which should help out a lot of players on the West Coast play in this event. That being said, we still have a lot of cool things going on. Expect similar prizing that we've had for other Late Night Series events. Expect better staffing, expect better tournament experiences, And of course, we do have a stream going up for this season as well, and I will be streaming the event on Twitch. That being said, we have the whole season up on the Play Limitless website. Late Night 51 all the way through 70 runs until we hit the Invitational on November 5th. So check that out, sign up today, and support Zach Lesage events and the Shuffle Squad. See you there.